Hello, welcome to my channel. Come on in, let's see how far I've gotten on some of my stitching projects. I hope you enjoy the share today. I hope you're all doing well. Let's take a look and see where I'm at. So, as you know from my last video, I started making these cute little, well, so far this one's cute and my second one's cute. And I'm doing one a month, so if you want to see the video for the how I started out making these pages. There's going to be 12 of them, one a month. So that was last month. So since this one had rectangles and straight stitches and what have you, I thought I would do something different for the following month, which is September. And yes, I got September done a little bit early. So look at this cute page. We did circles, buttons. I did some straight stitch. I did some stem stitch and I whipped the stem stitch with the red. I did now you ladies in the stitching community are going to yell at me for not knowing what stitch I did with this. It's a connected fly stitch. There's several variations and I'm not sure which one I did, but so I added different fabrics. I love this fabric. I love the color with the red, a little grayish background. It had a nice tone of green, although it looks almost brown in the fabric. I wanted the green. I had these green buttons, so I used one of each level of intensity. The colors are just a slight variation of each other. And then I love the little tiny fabric that matches this with the little tiny red flowers in them. So I thought I'd put a little thing on the edge of each. And I don't know what this thing is with red because I'm not usually a red person. And you certainly wouldn't believe me if I told you by looking at these. If you notice also, this one is white background. This one is not white. It's kind of an oatmeal color. That is intentional. Every other page will be white. Every opposite page will be this oatmeal color. So what else did I do on this page? I did some thread weaving. So this here is thread weaving with this outline color is all thread. And then there's no fabric in there. It's just the outline is thread going around using a stem stitch for outlining. And then the thread weaving with the same color as the outline and a lighter color. I thought that came out good. This book purpose is to help me try new stitches, see how I like them. So I'm doing small samples of them to see how they go, which ones I really like, which ones I would change up. And well, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4 different, basically 4 stitches plus those 3 little flowers would be 5 stitches. You can tell on this one I had many more different kinds of little stitches, but it's going to be quite a cute little book when it's done. These are the edges, which all have these eyelets in them, and then they'll all be hooked together into one book. So this is September. Yay! The next one will be October, and remember my rule for myself is that I cannot start a month ahead of the start of the month. So I will not start October until October 1st, and then we'll see how it goes. This one took a while. I knew I wanted to do circles and something not square or rectangle, and I had to think about what I wanted to do, if I wanted to do spirals, and I knew I wanted to do something like some curly Q things, but I thought it came out cute, so hope you like that. And I'm going to lay them on top of each other, so when I do these videos, I'm not going back to the others. These are just the templates ready to go, so this is the next template for October, and this will be, oops, just one, Jill, just one. This will be the spine for October, so those are prepped and ready to go, and I'll show that in October when I get that done. Okay, the next thing I was working on, I'm going to do a real brief here because I don't want to give too much away. Let me see where did I put that page? Oh, You know I'm working on another, if you haven't seen my wonky birds, Japanese rice bags. I don't know how I can call it a Japanese rice bag, but it is. And I have a video out there with the Japanese rice bag on it with the wonky birds. So I was trying to decide what to do, and I will give you, promise not to tell anybody, promise not to tell anyone, and I will show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to title these Mommy and Me. It's going to be Mommy and Me on 4 sides, and we're going to do a little bit of wonky dogs, and they're all going to have flowers. Now I found these images on Google. If you go out and Google, I don't know, wonky dogs or wonky animals. I think I started with, and all different kinds of animals. And then I thought, well, I should do dogs because after all, I have 3 dogs. And I'm going to do some different kind of stitching on these. So I already made the templates for the heads, the nose, the ears, the body, and they're going to have boots and laces. So you see this one partway done. But I am so excited to do this because they come out so darn cute. And I think I'm going to use some of that turkey work. Actually, it's turkey rug, but in the US we call it turkey work, stitching on the bodies so that they actually build up some depth and texture. So we'll see how that works out. I don't know, but they'll each be a different page, each carrying different flowers. And that's a Mommy and Me. First one of the Mommy and Me. So there you have a sneak peek. Okay. Then the last thing I was working on was this, which is it's not really a snippet roll. It's too big to be a snippet roll, right? But again, it's like a snippet roll because I wanted to roll it up and tell a story. So I had put some of the first section together with the fabrics. And I wanted to do some stitching on this. Can you see the whole thing? There, I think that might be a little better. So let me go through this. This is another place where I wanted to practice some stitching. So I'll show you what I've done so far. So I did some thread painting on these little flowers here. And then I did some French knots in the center. And I did a little bit of outlining just on parts of the petals. I'm going to also thread paint all these little leaves. The nice part about doing something like this for practice and maybe to learn a new stitch and stuff is it doesn't have to be perfect. Well, anything in slow stitch does not have to be perfect, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And the other thing is you can pick it up anytime and start stitching. And, I could come back and stitch over here at a later date, or I could, however I wanted to do it. I could add lace, I could add ribbons, and I could do it now or I could do it later. And, so it would be like if I wanted to add a piece of red fabric, I could do it later. I don't have to do it right now. If I wanted to add a piece of my extra specials favorite lace out of my stash, I could add it at any time. So that's why this project, I'm so glad I started it. And if you haven't started one, just start it and see how you go. Now I have my back fabric, which is just a very thin cotton. And then I started to lay fabrics on top. So it does get thicker as you go. So back to the stitching. So I wanted to try some thread painting. I may still work on those, but I want to do the leaves and thread painting. And if we come over here, I want to thread paint these flowers. They're red. The reason I want to do these petals were not very well defined in the fabric that they were printed on. These ones are very well defined. They have high and low colors, which I want to try and do in thread painting. So that's why I picked that one to go there. The other thing I wanted to do was and you can tell on here, I wanted to practice putting beads down because I don't know why. Well, yes, I do know why. I don't know why every time I put beads on, instead of having the bead show up like this, let me pull this up. Instead of having the beads show up with the back of the bead at the top, look how many of my beads show up with the circle at the top. Well, to me, that's not right. That's not correct. So I'm practicing applying beads. I am using a 2-stitch method, so each bead is sewed down with 2 stitches instead of 1, and I am getting better, but still some practice to go. But I'm done doing beading, at least on this section, unless I add some to the center of this little flower, which I made that flower myself. I think there was printed something on there. And then I outlined these leaves and did that. I'm not done with this yet. I want to embroider the rest of all of that and do some outlining on this to make that letter I stand out. Oh, there's just so much. Then I did, of course, running stitch up here. Some would call it cantha, but running stitch. I want to get better at running stitch. And why? Well, I like slow stitch because it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm also the kind of person that when I do it, I want to do it right. So I want to practice getting my little stitches approximately the same size, the same distance apart from each other, as well as each row the same distance apart from each other. And I could use a friction pen to draw it all on first, but I did not want to do that. So you can see I did some of that over here. If you don't mind listening to some noise, I'll show you how I get rid of that. Because it's got beads, I don't want to put an iron on here, and I don't want to melt the beads, but I can use my heat gun. So if you bear with me just a minute, I'm going to turn this on and show you how those markings will go away. And voila, they're gone. And the nice part about that is I don't have to get up and go to my ironing board and iron those lines out. So I did put the lines in for these beads here to keep them, you cannot see, but I straight stitched in the background. I straight stitched horizontally and then vertically, and I wanted a bead at the connection of each of those. So I had the friction pen markings on that section there. So that's what I've done so far. Hopefully the next time we chat about my stitching projects, it will probably be October. This should be farther along. I'm not going to put any more fabric on here until after I get this part more finished. Like I said, it doesn't have to be completely finished, but I want to do the thread painting and get a few more things done on this section, and maybe when we come back I'll lay the fabrics on the next section. We can do that together. So I'll be working on that. I'll be working on my secret Japanese rice bags. I have all the drawings done for the and they're all different for my little wonky dog rice bag, and we'll have another page for my 12 pages of stitching book. So I hope you liked this video. I hope you enjoyed your stay here. Thank you so much for taking time to spend with me today. I so much appreciate it. I appreciate all your comments. I appreciate those of you who have subscribed. Please continue to join me when you're available and do something you love today. I hope to see you soon. Until the next time.